Welcome back. We're discussing prospects for Palestinian-Israeli peace in the current political climate. With me in the studio is a man who was once considered a notorious terrorist, although it was his initiative to create the historic Oslo Peace Accord. Bassam Abu Sharif was a top aide to the late Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat and has just published a book that covers his first meeting with the iconic Arafat in 1967, right up to his last encounter in 2004. It's called Arafat and the Dream of Palestine, an insider's account. Let's get back to some questions. We have Ali on the line from Iran. Ali, what would you like to ask?
Yes, I'm calling from Iran. Very nice to talk to you and your guest.
Pleasure.
My comment is because I have very knowledge about my government, and I know them. As my knowledge, they are not really Muslim. They are abusing the Islam just for money, and they are damaging the people. They are damaging real Islam, and they are damaging.
Ali, are you talking about Iran?
Yes, the government of Iran. Yes.
Okay. Okay, Ali, well, we're looking at the issue with the Israeli-Palestinian situation, so I'm going to ask Bassam Abu Sharif, our guest, tell me why you wrote this book about your relationship with Yasser Arafat. Why release this book now?
Well, it was released now because it has lots of lessons about the past period, at least between December 88, and nowadays. The launching of a peace initiative by Arafat was not met with the proper seriousness from the West and the United States. We've received so many promises from so many different presidents who had lived in the White House in vain. And it is probably a message to Obama in the sense that read this and realize that the Palestinians are becoming fed up. And if you let the branch of olive drop from their hands, the Middle East as a whole will be in turmoil. This is not a warning. This is just drawing the attention and ringing the bell for those who can hear. It is getting into the hot level. The Palestinians are fed up seeing their land confiscated day after day, seeing their kids buried by Israeli bombs, which are American-made, seeing the United States in its crisis giving more money to Israel. Obama must do what Eisenhower had done sometime before, when he had ordered the Israeli army out of Gaza in 48 hours, and they did.
There are those who would say in Israel that even if there are those among the Palestinians who hold the olive branch, there are others who hold a missile, and they give example of Hamas firing missiles into Israel. How can you persuade the Israelis to make peace if there is an olive branch and a missile?
Well, I think my point of view, original point of view, is clearer now after the statement of Haniya 2 days ago. Haniya, when he had received Carter and had received an oral message from Obama, told Carter, and it is now public, that Hamas accepts a Palestinian state, an independent, sovereign Palestinian state on the land that was occupied on the 5th of June, the pre-5th of June borders. And so that solves in one way or unveils in another way that what is going on between Hamas and Fatah is actually not a struggle on the political program. It is a power struggle. As far as the political program, I see now that all except what had been drawn by Arafat in October 1988 as a program of the PLO, and on which Arafat depended to launch his peace initiative on the 13th of December in front of the United Nations General Assembly that had moved to Geneva only to hear the initiative of Arafat.
We have Rashid on the line from Bangladesh. Rashid, what would you like to ask?
Yes, Riz Khan, thank you very much for
Go ahead,
accepting
please.
my call. Actually, I have a very keen interest about the Middle East conflict, and I had an experience to cover the Iraq War and whole Middle East region. I have traveled. My question is, recently I have very deeply analyzed the Barack Obama's speech in Al-Azhar University in Egypt, and we have got an indication for two states, Middle East, especially Palestine and Israel. As a Muslim journalist, is there any chances that we can believe that this is the real reflection of Mr. Obama's this roadmap?
Okay. Mr. Abu Sharif, do you have, based on what Rashid was asking, do you sincerely believe the intention of Barack Obama? He's made the speeches that seem to give the right signals, but do you believe he's sincere?
I do believe that Obama is serious. His speech at the Cairo University was a speech of someone who really believes that Islam is a civilized religion and teaches civilization to human beings. His message to the Arab world and to the Islamic world was to create a new atmosphere, at least to detonate a war that had been planned for and instigated by those who enjoy racism and confessional segregation, those who call for purity of a Jewish state like Lieberman and Netanyahu. They enjoy seeing these splits and these struggles because this is the way they can live. This is their vicinity of life. Obama is serious not as an emotional thing. Obama is serious because the United States needs that. It's an interest of the United States. If he wants to serve his nation, he has to be serious about the establishment of an independent state, sovereign, viable, and with continuity.
You were responsible largely for creating the Oslo Initiative. You were the one who suggested to Yasser Arafat to go to Norway in the first place. Now, there are those in the American government who believe that perhaps Yasser Arafat missed an opportunity like 15 years ago to find some solution. That, of course, has given Israel more time to expand and change the parameters.
Well, they know as well that Yasser Arafat was the only courageous Palestinian leader to dare taking a step to have a historical compromise with the Israelis. Yasser Arafat had the courage to do it, to declare that he accepts a Palestinian state on the West Bank and Gaza, the areas that were occupied in '67, thus recognizing Israel on the other part of Palestine. That's a very big historical compromise that no one would have dared to take but Arafat. That's why, and I was attending the exchange of messages between the Prime Minister of Sweden and Schultz when Arafat replied to Schultz, and then Schultz promised to recognize the PLO and to start having negotiations with the PLO in case Yasser Arafat renounced terrorism, recognizes the right of Israel to live behind safe and recognized boundaries. Arafat said yes behind recognized boundaries, because for many in the West, it's not known that until now, since 1948, Israel did not define its borders to allow itself expand more and more on the expense of Arabs with their old dream from Nile to Euphrates. And we need to have these borders defined and declared, and this is how we have put it, two-state solution.
With about a minute to go, let me ask you who you think might be the next Yasser Arafat. If you're not a big fan of those in power with the Palestinians now, who's the next Arafat?
There will be no next Yasser Arafat. History never repeats a leader's personality twice. But there will be a leader, not like Arafat, and the obligations of the new leader will not be the same as Arafat. the courage needed from such a leader would not be the same courage that was needed from Arafat. It would need a leader who would know that negotiations is the way to establish the state, but not to negotiate deprived from all possible weapons, to negotiate with the masses behind him, with the Intifada, telling the whole world that the Palestinians are fed up, that the Palestinians will drop the branch of olive unless they attain their rights, at least their simple rights in a small state on the West Bank and Gaza.
Bassam Abu Sharif, I have to thank you very much for your time. The book is Arafat and the Dream of Palestine, an insider's account. Thanks for being with us. On the next show, much has been made of the so-called Twitter revolution in Iran. We'll explore the tug-of-war between citizens who are using the internet for their political activism and the governments trying to restrict and censor the web. From me and the team, we'll see you next time.